Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Agents in the Trenches, the real raw realities of what our agents, team leaders, brokers, and the whole real estate industry is experiencing in this moment. And we know that for many years we were talking about things changing. I remember back 2020, definitely when the pandemic hit. And then 2021, 2022, 2023, we started to feel the uphill battle a little bit. And here we are in 2024, and definitely it is a new season and a new reason for us to be in real estate. And as usual, I'm Lucy Quinones, so happy to be here bringing this conversation with someone that is going to shed a lot of light, a lot of powerful light on what's happening out there in the trenches in our industry. She is a frontline leader and she is our guest here today. But before we bring her on, as usual, I want to bring, you guys already know, my running partner, the trailblazer herself, the one that says, when Lucy says jump, she says, let's go, I'm ready. And she's always ready for an adventure. Talia, how are you doing?
That's right. I am always ready for an adventure. So crazy. This past, 2 to almost 3 years with you has been quite a ride, but it has been worth every second. So I'm super excited, super happy, grateful to be here. And yeah, I'm excited for this conversation as well. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Listen, we have someone that I have admired from afar, from a distance, directly, indirectly, for many years, and she is a superstar in the real estate industry. She is a trailblazer herself. I mean, she is a trendsetter. Forget about trailblazing. She's one of these women that, is out there setting those trends, leading from the front with an incredible heart. And I was so privileged to have her as one of my speakers at Vision Builders 2023, who can imagine was already a year ago. So I want to introduce to every one of our audience and everyone that's going to join us today, the very one and only my friend, Karina. Hey, how are you?
Hey girls, how are you? I'm so excited to be on. Look at me, I'm doing the jazz hands already. Jazz hands, everybody.
I love it.
Welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you here. And I'm so excited that you accepted this invitation. But you know what? There's no one that knows Karina better than Karina herself. So tell us a little bit about you, who you are, where you come from, what you do, and we'll get this conversation started.
It's funny, when people ask me to introduce myself, I'm almost shy about it. It's almost unbelievable that I've done everything that I've done. So I tell people I just push papers and I sit at a desk and then I kind of move on. But if I have to introduce myself, so I'm Karina Borgia LaCroix. I am known as the real estate title girl. I own Borgia Consulting Corporation and American Real Title. Borgia Consulting Corporation basically consults clients in real estate, providing creative solutions to real estate problems where an agent isn't necessarily able to help because it isn't a sale, and where an attorney doesn't necessarily have to go to court because it isn't a problem that requires any court time. So anything in between, as you can imagine, in real estate, all kinds of things happen. So the title company then does the real estate closings, but I work really closely with all of the clients during my closings. If there are any issues that pop up in title within our company, then the consulting side takes over. We usually don't charge a fee for that if the file's in our office. So our agents really love using us because they don't have to go elsewhere to, let's say, come up with language for addendums that are tricky or need to be very black and white. All those things. Any title issue, we have never had a file not closed because of what we call a dirty title in my office. I also clean title for other title agencies. When they can't clean up their own issues, they call me for creative solutions for those issues. So that's sort of what I do. But I'm also, let's see, I'm a best-selling book author. I do a little public speaking thanks to Lucy because she kind of like ignited that in me. I started talking about the power of positivity and how that can really like propel you for positive changes in your business and in your personal life. And I run a reading programs at the elementary school and an emotional training program, which is very fun. I teach children how to basically navigate their thoughts in a positive way. So I'm also on the board on a few charities. If anyone's out there looking to donate any money to any charity, Blessings in a Backpack. Remember, Blessings in a Backpack, that's my thing. We feed children on the weekends that don't have food during the weekend, so they get the free meals at school, but they go home and they don't have their food insufficient. So we give them food for the whole weekend for them. We put them in their backpack, and we're currently feeding 8,400 children, 8,400 children in our area during the whole school year, every weekend. So that's what I do. So there's a lot going on.
Wow, 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 wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my awesome goodness. That is amazing. And I commend you for that. And it makes my heart smile when I hear you say that you are now speaking publicly, right? And that I was able to ignite that potential in you, because I always tell people, I don't know how I ended up being a potential scouter, right? Like, I see potential in people, and I was so happy. And when you spoke at Vision Builders 2023, I mean, you had such a powerful message that a lot of times people don't know about, because they just see what we do. They really don't see who we are. And your message and the way you just rocked the room with that heartfelt, inspirational message that you shared about you and growing up and your relationship with, your family, and how that, crafted you into many difficulties that you turned into, opportunities to conquer and to grow. So I remember that message very well, and I'm so happy that you're out there speaking. I remember in 2015 when I became a certified speaker, because I just wanted to make sure that, I don't know what I was doing it right. It was just something that I started doing without even knowing. And then after that, I said, there's so much power in speaking, because people think they know us, but they really don't know us, right? So tell us a little bit of how you took that first stage and how you took that first experience at the Sydney and Byrne at Vision Builders 2023, and where has it brought you to this point now?
I'm very touched, first off, that you remembered a little bit of my story, because there's so many people that speak, and you connecting to that is very powerful for me. So thank you for saying that and mentioning it. It's interesting, and I don't think that I said this during that talk, because I know that we were limited in time, and I know we're limited in time now, girl. I will talk forever, but the first time that I had any actual public speaking, this was probably 15 years, maybe more, maybe 18 years ago. I was speaking, representing a group of residents in the Gateway area that were fighting to make sure that something that was going on that was going to be passed by the county didn't happen, right? And this group asked me to speak on their behalf. And I have to tell you the story because it's hilarious. That was the first time I really was in public. I walked up, they asked me to come up to speak, and I didn't realize it was being televised. And there were like 9 cameras, and I'm in front of the board county commissioners, and they were like, okay, Ms. Borja, it's your turn. And all of a sudden the cameras turn on, and I freaked out and started crying.
Oh my goodness.
I cried. Okay. Like, oh my God. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, what am I going to do? And one of the county commissioners said, we're going to give Miss Borja a minute to compose herself. And I grabbed the mic and I said, I'm going to need more than a minute. And everybody started laughing. I started laughing. I said what I needed to say. And actually we won. They did not pass what they wanted to pass. And, the people that asked me to speak, they were like, oh, that was amazing what you did. You were like the emotion. And I was like, that wasn't emotion. That was a complete anxiety attack.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So then, to you asking me to speak in front of that big audience like that, and me taking it on, I'm a lot better prepared. But But it did make me feel like I got a lot of people came to me afterwards and said, hey, that was really touching. That really touched me. I really needed to hear those words. I needed to know that other people that are successful right now didn't really start that way, that there's a road to follow and we can all ride on it, right? And that really empowered me. And now anytime someone says, come speak, I'm like, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Share it. And even in the whole book writing situation, that was a collaboration between a lot of successful women here. And we each told a little bit of our story of where we struggled to get to where we are. And after I wrote that, I felt really naked and was not comfortable. I wanted them to take me off of it. I said, I don't want to share these things. But then I remembered how I felt after I spoke at your event. And I was like, you know what? Someone will read it and maybe I'll make a change. So I thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? That's just who I am. That is, and that's why I smile when I hear you say this, because I say, I'm living out my purpose.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I am an encourager. I'm a potential seeker. And I was born to ignite people's potential, because I don't know why, but there's just something about doing that. We just had a mastermind, the Southwest Florida Real Estate Mastermind last month, and 3 people or 4 people, I don't remember, Talia, you can remind me. But I've been doing so many things, I lose track of time. I don't know what, I just live one day with the next, kind of like comes together. But we had 4 people. They were our speakers. And the same thing, they had never spoken, and they were so nervous. But each of them now is able to say, man, I didn't think that my story or my words or my experience was going to resonate so much. And people reached out to me and people spoke to me. So I'm very happy for you, Karina. But I know that there's still so much more that you're yet to do.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to invite you to this Agents in the Trenches. I don't know if Talia has any questions for Karina. She can chime in. But let's kick it off with what's happening in the real world of real estate.
Oh, so I was having sort of a little bit of this conversation with Talia the other day, and we're in a really weird situation, because the agents are in one kind of road, and the lenders are in one road, and we're in this road where we get a little bit of everything, right? So some agents are struggling to get listings. Some, have more buyers. Some have, everybody's like on a different road. And I see all of it. And our road's very different too. Like we have, things have slowed down here, but they haven't physically slowed down. And that's what I was telling Talia, that I think the agents see a slowdown on their end, and what we see is something completely different. So we get a little bit of a preview. Title agencies usually get a little bit of a preview of what's coming next, right? Because we start seeing the transactions that may lead to something else later happening before you guys start noticing the shift. And we have essentially, like, our income during this period of, the slow period has decreased. And I'm always very open about that. I never tell anybody I'm out there making $1 million. That's not what I do, really. I just help people and hope to be able to pay my bills. So, but we have the income has decreased, but the work hasn't. The transactional work hasn't. And we sat down and thought, well, what's really happening here? So we realized that right now we're extremely busy with lots closing on land deals, right? And then we start going a little further into who's buying these land deals to kind of figure out what's going to happen in the market tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And these pieces of property are being bought out by small builders. So not like your big builder, Lennar, US Home, and all those, but a smaller builder, like a family business that builds maybe 2 to 3 homes, every few months, and then they sell them, right? And I've noticed that transactional wise, like the amount of closings that we're doing hasn't decreased. It actually may have increased, which creates a lot more work for us because, as you guys know, a lot closing, although we make nothing on it, we actually, like I was telling Talia, we take a hit every time we close one because we put more money into working the file, right? Paying the staff and the overhead into working this file than what we make. So we are always at a negative every time we close a land deal. But the land deals are coming like crazy by these builders that are buying 10 and 15 lots at a time. And they're interesting transactions. A lot of them are assignments, and maybe we can talk about that, how assignments work and how you can get involved with that. But so we're seeing that, and I know what's happening. These builders are collecting their pieces of property to then start building on them, and they're going to. These builders are, and again, because they're family-owned businesses, these aren't businesses that have millions and millions of dollars sitting in an account, and they just buy a property and they're like, oh, I'll sit on it for 10 years. That's not what these people are going to do. These people have to build on them to continue making their revenue, right? So we're going to see the shift of the smaller, back before the market had crashed. If you drove down Lee Boulevard in Lehigh, there were all these smaller builders that had their like model homes, right on that corridor. And what they did was they used to say, we'll build your house, we'll include the lot, right? I see this happening again. They're going to be building on their own lots that they own, so you won't have a choice on that. But may have some choices as far as like your end cosmetic choices at the end of a construction. But I see this. I can say that in the next year or so, we're going to see an increase of those smaller builders just ramping up and starting to build.
Yeah, I remember when the boom, right? 2003, 4, 5. There were a lot of small builders, right? Mom and pop operations. I remember Hanson Homes. I remember Hammer Construction. I remember many of them, right? Not nationally known companies or corporations, but small operations. And yeah, they would build their spec homes and put them on the market. And it's a good thing because we do need inventory. I live in Cape Coral, and the streets are like so jam-packed with people. I'm like, where are all these people coming from? But of course, this past week I was speaking with someone, and they were like, we'd really like to take a look at this property. We live in Miami, but we're moving here because we're going to start building. So exactly what you're saying, and I'm happy that you're mentioning it, is what agents need to know. Agents need to put their finger on the pulse of the industry. Because let me ask you a question. The agents that are out there, and we already know that about 85,000 agents nationwide left the industry. We know they left. It wasn't because they were making too much money, obviously, right? But I also see that there's a lot of agents out there that are still stale, stuck, and stagnant.
Yep.
They're not having deals come together. They're not moving and shaking. They're not. What do you think is one of the biggest struggles for agents that are sitting out there stale, stuck, and stagnant? Because the market is moving. We're still selling. It doesn't matter which way the interest rates are going.
I feel like a lot of people, and this even goes together with the things that I talk about positive mindset and things like that. I think that a lot of people fall in with the hype, right? Oh my God, the interest rates are terrible. No one's going to want to buy ever. And oh my God, look, all these agents are looking for side jobs now. Oh my God, look at, what am I going to do? And instead of actually sitting down and thinking, let's consider what the market is doing today, right? What's changing? Like I was talking about the assignments and contracts and things like that. What can I learn that maybe could generate some business, and maybe not right this minute, but in the future? I feel like they're just frozen because they're being told to be frozen, right? And I talk about this not in my public speaking positive mindset frame, but on the title side. I've always done a lot of speaking to agents and things like that. And one of the things that I talk about is the stomaching risk, right? And stomaching changes. The human brain or emotional portion of your brain has a 1.5 year period, and I've done some research of this, in order to accept, right? Something that happens that's like really drastic, it takes you a 1.5 years to fully say, okay, fine, it's new. This is a new way of living, and this is how we're going to progress now, right? And I feel like there are a lot of agents out there still within that time frame that they just want to hold on to how we worked our files and our clients and all that stuff when the interest rates were at 3%, right? And they haven't evolved into, what can I tell my clients today about the high interest?
Right.
Will interest rate go down? Yeah, but also, the prices of the home right now, because it's a buyer's market, you could probably get a deal, get in on that higher interest rate, and when the interest rate goes down, refinance out of this, right? But I think they're just and I'm even guilty of that in my own personal investments, where I was like, I'm going to build all these houses, I bought all these property too, and then I sat back and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do it. I should have done it when everything was at 3%. And then my own, inability to move forward from this supposed mistake I made of not taking over that, you know what I mean? That
Right.
portion of time where I probably could have made a ton of money, kind of like held me back. And I think emotionally, the agents are listening to the hype. Oh, we're not going to get commission anymore for a buyer's agent. All this craziness that's out there, and they're afraid. They're afraid about their long status and their income potential.
And so here's where I would take this conversation and kind of open up another, chamber for us. This is where we get tested. I remember my mentor, Joe Interbartolo. You knew Joe Interbartolo, a legend in the real estate industry, he would tell me all the time, he would say, Lucy, I have opened up so many offices in Cape Coral, I can't even count. And I said, what do you mean? He says, you know how many people I help get started in the real estate industry, learn how to do real estate, and then they went and opened up their own office. And that's why he became a legend. When he passed away, so many people had so many good things to say about him, because they say, I remember when I first got started. So that being said, he would tell me, nobody escapes, Lucy. Nobody escapes. I don't care how much money they tell you have, how big their office is, how happy they seem to be, how wonderful their life is. Everybody has to go through the trials and the tribulations and the pain of growth. Nobody escapes. So now you're talking about exactly that. Karina Borgia, the queen of title, right, in our area, and the mover, the shaker, the woman, the mom. You also go through the same thing we all go through. That negative thinking and the fear factor, and I think that this is my question. What would you tell the real estate agents that are now having to hustle? Because for the last 10 years, we've been on real estate easy street. We were order takers because, hello, you don't need to do too much to give money away, right? 1% interest, 1.5%, 2%, 3%. Everybody and their mother can qualify for a home. So you're order takers. But now we got to get in the hustle. Now we got to get our grit up. Now it's an uphill battle. And we're all going through the reality of what it is. But I always say, reality will not define me. I will define my reality. What's your number one, advice to these realtors that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen? Because it ain't going to happen. Hello. Right. It's not going to happen. You either get up and get in the trenches, or you're going to be washed out. I'm sorry. I love you. That's the truth. What do you tell them?
So, I think that we have, all of us in the real estate industry, whether you're in title or mortgage or, selling real estate, we are all in a business that we really have to understand changes constantly. So you have to be in that mindset of always being willing to make those changes for whatever it is that the market is doing, right? Pivoting, being able to pivot and say, okay, well, that doesn't work anymore. I'm going to try. What is everybody else doing? You know, follow the people that are doing well, like Lucy. What is she doing? You know, where is she getting her leads? How is she getting her leads? How many hours is she working to get those leads, right? And I tell people all the time that life, including the real estate business, is a seesaw, right?
Mhm.
You're at a playground and you're in the seesaw, right? You
Right.
are never up too long and you're never down too long. Like if you constantly do this, it doesn't matter. You could have $1 billion today and tomorrow you're here, you're in the high point in your $1 billion, and tomorrow something happens and now you're at the bottom. And it's always going to be that way. That's in your personal life and your professional life, with your children, with everything, right? Finances. And I feel like, you know, embracing that down spout. Like when we have a downtime here, we concentrate on how can we make what we do better, right? How can we, do we need this much staff, right? Like I've had to reorganize some things. I've hired
Restructure, yeah.
tree actually to be able to work because people didn't want to come into the office to work. And and these were things that I was really against for ages. For 10 years, I was like, I'm never doing that. I'm never doing that. And eventually, you know, when I stomached the risk, because you have to, then I did it. So what I would say to the agents is, you know, we're at the bottom, right? And we're going to go up and down. We're going to go up and down. But your ability to go up and down determines on what you have on this other side. So if you're sitting here and you have this on this other side, what are you doing about it, right? Because what you want to do is you want to get at the seesaw. You know, you get on with your buddy that weighs the same as you, so that you guys are balancing together. Well, you gotta, whatever you put on that other side of that seesaw, it's what's going to balance you out and just, you know, swallow it. What we had in the past is not coming back right now. Okay. It probably, those interest rates, I don't know if I'll ever see them again, right? Maybe I will. But we can't live in the past. And that's what a lot of agents are doing. Let's live in the future. Let's live in not in the future. Let's live in the present. Don't live in the future. Live in the present and get out there and look at the possibilities of other things. Like I was telling Talia the other day, I have real estate agents that are now doing these assignments, right? They find out that this lot is being sold by this person that they just want to get rid of it. Someone passed away, right? And they buy it for $10,000, and now they're gonna, the agent itself, you know, they're not just representing the deal. They get under contract to buy that lot for $10,000, and then they know that they have someone else that can buy it for $15,000, right? So then they sign that contract, which is being done everywhere. And people are, you know, it's a little scary. There's some, maybe that's a story for a different.
Yeah, I hope they know how to do it right so they don't end up losing their license.
Exactly. Because it's very tricky. That's very tricky.
Yeah.
But right, you wouldn't be the agent. You know, there's all kinds of ways of doing it. But people are signing contracts left and right and making the, you know, it's something in the middle. And again, if you think about it, if you're a real estate agent and you represent a land deal and it's selling for $10,000, how much are you going to make? Mm-hmm. It's almost not, like we say, it's almost not even worth like putting the time into it. But again, you have to think about the present, right? Where is that client that's buying this lot going to end up doing with this lot later? Are they going to build on it? Are they going to sell it later? Are they going to sell it later when the market goes back up? And then you get that deal. You have to think about the work that you're doing today may not generate the finances that you're looking for, but it will generate a long-term career for you, right? So you have to take those in, even if you know they're not leading you to where you were, you know, 10 years ago, because that's how you're going to stay in the business. You're going to take what's here and you're going to work with what's here today.
And I think that's something very powerful that you're saying, and it's, you know, you have to reinvent yourself. You know, when people ask me, Lucy, so, you know, how has real estate really been for you? I say, listen, I've had to reinvent myself 3 times already. In my 23-year career, I've had to reinvent myself 3 times. But you know what? Those are also 3 times that I could have quit, that I could have thrown in the towel, that I could have had a pity party, that I could have said all the reasons why, this is so hard. I can't continue doing this. And there's a lot of people out there, and this is the good and the bad of social media, right? There's a lot of people out there that we can put a good front.
Right.
But that's why I love Agents in the Trenches, because this is the real, raw reality.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is, this is not a market for the weak at heart. This is not a market for lazy people. This is not a market for people that got into real estate because they love watching HGTV.
Right.
This is a beautiful market for people that are looking to, thrive and scale and really learn how
And grow.
and learn the truth of real estate. So,
Yeah.
Dali, what questions do you have? Because I know you're sitting there listening to this conversation, and
I love it. I'm just like soaking it all in, right? Especially what Karina said. I love what you said, the analogy you used, and then you also said about living in the present.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question because agents that are hearing this conversation, right? And we spoke. If you didn't hear like the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, go back and the replay and listen to it. You said that you see people coming, like small builders and all these people that are coming here and buying these lands. And so talk to the agent that is thinking about that future. It's like, okay, I want to get into it. I want to get connected with these people, with these little small families. How would you, what would you say to these people that want to get into it and want to maybe market themselves as someone to come to help them with their needs?
And right now it's a time to connect with these builders because they haven't gotten the ball rolling completely yet, right? They're just stocking the land right now. And I mentioned this to Talia the other day. So I am I love my agents. My agents are my life. They're my life. They're everything for me. Obviously, they're my clients, right? So like the end buyer and seller are every 10-year client, right? My agents are the ones that are constantly developing business and bringing it to me. So I am, supportive of my agents like crazy. And I said to Talia the other day that, we have a rule here that I won't hire anyone that has a real estate license, right? I won't, because I have all these investors and all these people that trust me not to compete with them, right? Not to take their investor list, not to misuse the information that they're entrusting me with, right? So I'm very careful about that. The people that are here have no aspirations of ever selling real estate, and I won't hire somebody that does. And I say that, I preface that to answer your question. I know it seems like I'm going off some other topic. I'm prefacing it by saying that it's very difficult for me to say, hey, let me put you in contact with my builders, because these builders are coming to me through their listing agents, right? I mean, they're buyers, they're buying, right? So I'm seeing them. If they're buying a property, they have their own agent that's finding this property, and then usually I'll end up with a listing agent as well, right? But I can't share what's happening with that because then I'm giving their business away. But this is what I can say. I can say that if you're looking at what is happening in the market, like the transactions that are happening in the market, I know that you guys have a way of seeing what percentage of that were land and where is the land being sold and who's buying them. I can guarantee you that you're going to find in there names of corporations, right, that are buying them left and right. They're LLC, some of them are just corporations. But these people, if you see that in the last 3 months, one company has bought 10 lots, that company is going to build on those 10 lots and sell them. And now that they're not at the point of selling them yet, again, they have their agent, right? The agent that found the lot to them, that agent's going to list the property, but they don't have a buyer's agent yet. They don't even have the product to sell it yet, right? And this is a time to connect with them, right? Look them up, go on Sunbiz, right? You find their name, go on Sunbiz, find where they're at, send them a letter. Sometimes you can go on social media, you can look at who the manager is of that LLC. Find them on social media, send them a message, right? Send them, sometimes you can even find their numbers for their offices. So reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you are about to make a shift in this market. You're going to start building, and I want to be the first one to be told what's being offered, when it's going to close, or when you expect to have it done. When do you want to list it? Let me see if I can find a buyer for you. Right? I think that's something to start with. You never know where that's going to lead.
Right.
You don't.
And that's the important thing. There's no lack of opportunities. I have a brand new agent that started with me a little less than a month ago. And ironically, I had already been speaking with Ali, and I said, we got to get in the trenches. I mean, there's no reason to be coming to the office. Yes, I love the office, but what we do, we are the hunters, right? So when I say we, you, agents, team leaders, and brokers, you are the predators. You are the hunters. I use predators in a good term, meaning you're supposed to get out there and be hunting, right? It's hunting season. It's been hunting season for 24 months.
I say that to my staff all the time. I'm like, if I sit at the office, we make no money. So you guys have to deal with the office work because I gotta go because I gotta be out there. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I said to Talia in November. I remember we told this story yesterday. We were having a meeting with an affiliate partner, and I said, last April, I said to Talia, I'm going to drive the car. You get in the co-pilot seat. We're getting in the trenches. I need to clone myself. So pay attention and learn. And then in August, I said, okay, now you're getting in the driver's seat. You're going to drive the car. Make sure you don't crash. I'll be in the passenger side, guiding, leading, helping you navigate these uncharted waters. But then in November, I said, listen, get ready because I'm getting off the car. If I say I'm getting off the car, so you're on your own.
Here's the keys, Talia. Good luck.
Yes, here's the keys. Make this happen. But that's exactly how we need to look at this market. It's what am I doing? What's working? What's not? What do I need to change? And what do I need to do different? Because it is what it is. But this is an incredible, incredible market for the hustlers, for the go-getters, for the hungry lions. It's funny because I talk to agents all the time and I say, are you really hungry to make it? Because if you are, I can help you make money. I know how to make money in real estate. And they say, yes, I'm really hungry. They have a little burrito and they're like full. I'm like, you're not hungry. Like your hunger and my hunger are two different. I got a Latina hunger. Like I could eat the whole refrigerator if I had to. So
tell me I can't do it. Tell me I can't do it and watch me, right? That's a Latina.
Exactly. Thing. Yes, you got to have that passion. But this is the best market for hunters. So long story short, we haven't been in the office. Talia and the crew have been out doing open houses every single day. Not one, not two. I think yesterday they were at 3 open houses. I'm joining them next week because I've been in Mamita life mode, working remotely, leading from the, quarterbacking everything. But that's what you have to do. You need to get out there and be doing open houses. You need to be door knocking, talking to people, finding the people, talking to the people. You need to get out of the box in a powerful way. What do you say about that hustle?
Well, I agree. I think, years ago, open houses, nobody did open houses. You would take a couple of pictures, put them online, get some buyer from some other state and that, sight unseen, boom, you're done. Right. And now I see agents like posting saying, oh, I need another job because I can't do this. And I say to them, like, what is it that you can't do? Well, I can't, it's too hard. I can't do open houses and I can't, knock on doors. And I'm like, but this is your business. This is how your business gets developed. When you got into this business, I hope that you knew that at some point you would have to put in that hard work. And maybe you got in during the easy time, but no one is, no one out there that has a business is immune from having to work hard at it, from having to leave your children with other people, right? Or with a babysitter, or all those things, because you're going to work at night, you're going to show properties on the weekends, and I think you just like I was saying earlier, just accept it, right? we've been doing this now for too long. Just accept that now you're going to have to put in the work, but you're going to have to put in the work in any job that you have. And that's
Yes.
what I want to say to the agents. They think, oh, I'll get off of this job and then I'm going to go work somewhere else. Well, you know, every job has its difficulties and every business requires a ton of sweat equity, every single one of them, right? And if you and I'm going to be honest, if you don't feel that you have the time and the patience to put in the sweat equity, you're probably not in the right business. I mean,
Come on, girl.
what-
Preach it. Preach
and
it.
I hate to say that, I do.
It's the truth.
Because I don't want people to just say, I give up, because it's not what we're trying to do here. But listen, you're not the only one on this boat. You're not the only one struggling to pay your mortgage. You're not. We're all in it together.
Right.
We're all reinventing ourselves. We all have a little bit of a side hustle, you know, like I was talking about the consulting side. That started from me having to reinvent myself 6 years ago, when there was a change in the business structure that we had here. And I wasn't happy. I was not happy. I didn't want to do it. I was like, forget it. I'm not doing this. But, you know, in order to make it long term, like today, where I'm actually paying my mortgage, right? You have to just swallow it and put on the backpack. It doesn't matter how much it weighs, because when you're hiking up a mountain with a heavy backpack, when you get up to the top, your heart's going to be healthier. You're going to have more muscles. Your metabolism is going to be better. So if you get on right now and you put the sweat equity into your business, then at the end of that hike, right, that heavy hike, your business is going to be better. It's going to be financially better. You're going to be better respected in the community. You'll have more clients, right? So we all, but you're going to be putting sweat equity in anything. So if you get out of the real estate business, you're going to have to put sweat equity into the next thing.
Here's the thing. The thing is,
what you got now.
the thing is, people don't realize that Karina, as beautiful as she is and as successful as she sounds she is, because she is, has to do the dirty work a lot of times. You don't have a choice. See, people like Karina and I don't have a choice. We cannot quit.
Right. I
There's
can't.
a lot of realtors, there's a lot of team leaders, and even brokers that's still in their mind, they have not burnt all their ships. They think they have a plan B. Listen, either piss or get off the pot.
Right.
Because as long as you think that you're going to have a plan B, and until you don't reach that revelation, like Karina was saying, that I can't quit.
Right.
Quitting for me is not an option.
Right.
So I'm going to push until this baby comes out, because I cannot quit. See, the problem is there's a lot of people out there that still say, well, if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to quit. Then you know what? Quit while you're ahead.
Yep.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yep.
Don't take our business. I'm not going to be apologetic about it. I'm going to be ruthless and shamelessly bold, because I love my industry. I love the real estate vehicle. It changed my life. It has built more multimillionaires than any other business on the planet. It works. If you work it, it works, right? And so, no, I'm going to tell you the truth. And you either love me or you don't. But one day you'll realize I was telling you the truth.
Yep.
If you think that quitting is an option, quit while you're ahead.
Yep.
Leave the business. Talia, me, Karina, we'll handle it. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Jump ship, go build somebody else's empire if that's what you were born to do.
Exactly.
Me and my family, we were born to win.
Right.
Period. End. And for Talia, our family was born to win, and the first winner has to be me, because I can't preach what I don't practice.
Exactly. I'm
You got me going, girl. You got me going.
I'm a clap. No, but it's so true. It's so true, because, I've been doing this for 25 years, right? And so I've seen really high and I've seen really low. And like I said, my issue is always like the seesaw, where how can I balance myself and take from the high and put from the high into the low, and work it that way. But I've been doing this for 25 years. I have what else am I going to go do right now? And
You're hireless.
I do, right? So it doesn't matter how terrible the market is. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Whether that's, like I said, downsizing my staff or the overhead, or
Whatever.
whatever it is, like internally, I have to look at everything within my business, my staff, my processes, what programs we're using, everything to reinvent the wheel so that we can continue moving forward. And that's where we're at right now for the agents too. You have to sit down and say, and be committed. I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to find ways to make money. People are finding ways to make money out there all the time. And I'm not the one that sees it immediately. Like I was saying, I see it when I start realizing, crap, our income is really low, like in comparison to whatever 6 months ago. And then I'm looking at it, but we have the same amount of staff, and we're working just as hard. What's happening? I don't see it immediately.
Right.
I may see it a little bit before you guys, but I don't see it immediately either. But people are out there figuring it out. They are, because that's why I still have a business here, because they're out there and they come to me all the time with very, creative things. They'll say, Karina, and I come from the legal background. I didn't mention that, but we started as a real estate law office. So I've always been a real estate paralegal for 25 years. So I come from the legal background, and I have people. The majority of my clients for the consulting side are people that are coming up with creative solutions to their problem, right? And now they want to know, how can they really make it work? Is this legal? Can I do this? What documents do I use? Do I need a specific agreement with this person? Like all of those things. But they're out there really brainstorming what it is that's gonna, I guess, move them forward until we're at the height again.
Absolutely. Well, this conversation has been incredible. Dali, I'm gonna let you bring it to a close, and we could be here for hours, because when you speak with someone that has a winning mindset, when you speak with someone like Karina that has been there, done that has picked herself up, dust herself off, that has been through the trials and the tribulations and the tests, right, of time and of the markets and of everything that we live. I mean, the conversation is different. So you definitely ignited my passion for my industry. I love my industry. I'm a product of it. I've been here doing this. Quitting, like you and I said, is not an option. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to have my best years in real estate ever, because I've had to go through this rediscovery mode that we all have to go through, and people see the glory, but they don't know the story. So that's why I love Agents in the Trenches, because we come and bring them the real raw realities of the stories that we live. It's not always easy. It's not always glamorous. It's not always sexy. We don't always look this, modifying as we do here today live. There's many times we got to put on the overalls, the work boots, and get out there and hustle.
A lot of time. I don't even know if it's just many times. It's a lot of times. Like just last night, I had an event that I had to go to, a networking event. Again, you have to network out there, guys. Stop being shy. Get your face out there. Get some lives going like Lucy does all the time. Bombard the marketplace with your face.
Get loud, baby. Get loud.
So I was out there at a networking event, and I have a client that needed to sign documents in Miami this morning, and I hadn't gotten to them. So at midnight, I get in, I put on my pajamas, I log in, and I work. My documents went out. I knew that I had things going on this morning, so I wasn't going to get to it. You have to, I wasn't sleeping. So let's see, the other night I had maybe 3 hours of sleep, and last night maybe like 5, because there's a lot going on, right? And I can't be in 2 places at the same time. So sometimes you have to sacrifice some things. I don't want to sacrifice time with my son either, which is why I just sacrifice sleep. I don't suggest it, but I'm okay with it.
You do whatever, there's this incredible song. I recommend everybody go find it on Spotify, YouTube, whatever it takes.
Yep.
And I've been running to that song for the last year. And every time I run and I listen to that song, I'm like, it's whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I don't care about the blood, the sweat, the tears. It's whatever it takes.
Yep.
So Karina, I think we should do a part 2 to this. This has been a very powerful conversation. There's a lot more people that watch it on the replay. I think that you're definitely a frontline leader, role model. And I would love for you to also come out and spend some time with us at the Southwest Florida Real Estate Mastermind, which has grown to be an incredible community of eagles and of movers and shakers, and just a heartbeat of super collaborators, people that are just, coming from the heart. So I'll leave that invitation on the table. Dali, take it away,
Thank you.
girl.
Lucy, I love you.
I love you more.
Thank you so much, Karina, for accepting this invitation to be on Agents in the Trenches. Thank you all to everybody who's watching. If you're watching live, go ahead and comment live. If you're watching on the replay, comment replay. And if you have any questions for Karina, feel free to reach out to her. But thank you so much for watching. And until next week, see you next week.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Thank you, Karina. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.